What truly drives human behavior? For centuries, psychologists have debated whether our actions are motivated by the pursuit of greatness or by darker, self-defeating impulses. Today, we introduce the duality of desire theory, a groundbreaking model that suggests every person is governed by two fundamental and opposing forces: the drive for superiority and the drive for annihilation. This theory offers a new lens for understanding the paradoxes of human motivation, from our highest achievements to our deepest struggles. Let's embark on a journey to explore how these dual forces shape our lives. At the heart of the duality of desire theory are two opposing drives. The first is the drive for superiority, the urge to achieve, to be recognized, to realize our fullest potential. The second is the drive for annihilation, a hidden tendency toward withdrawal, despair, or even self-destruction, especially when we face overwhelming existential threats. These forces are not simply opposites, they coexist within each of us, constantly influencing our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Unlike earlier theories that focus on just one aspect of human motivation, the duality of desire theory integrates insights from evolutionary psychology, neuroscience, and clinical psychology. By doing so, it provides a unified framework for understanding both proactive behaviors, like striving for success, and self-defeating actions like giving up or self-sabotage. This holistic approach helps explain why people can swing between ambition and despair, sometimes within the same lifetime or even the same day. To understand these drives, we start with evolutionary psychology. Primates, our closest relatives, display both dominance-seeking and submissive behaviors as survival strategies. When competition seems hopeless, withdrawal or passive behavior can actually be adaptive, helping individuals avoid unnecessary harm. This evolutionary perspective shows that both striving for superiority and retreating in the face of threat are deeply rooted in our biology. Neuroscience reveals the biological underpinnings of these drives. The mesolimbic dopamine pathway, running from the ventral tegmental area to the nucleus accumbens, is central to our reward system. When we pursue goals or achieve recognition, this pathway lights up, reinforcing the drive for superiority. It's the same circuit that motivates us to seek pleasure, success, and social status. But what happens when we feel threatened or overwhelmed? The amygdala and related threat circuits in the brain become overactive. This triggers avoidance, fear, and behaviors that align with the drive for annihilation. Instead of seeking rewards, we retreat, withdraw, or even engage in self-destructive actions. This neural response helps explain why chronic stress or trauma can lead to despair and withdrawal. Clinical psychology provides further evidence for the dual drives. Patients with major depressive disorder often show reduced activity in reward circuits and increased activity in threat networks. This imbalance can manifest as a loss of motivation, withdrawal from social life, and even self-destructive thoughts or behaviors. Understanding this pattern helps clinicians design better interventions for those struggling with depression. Non-suicidal self-injury is another example of the annihilation drive in action. Many people who self-harm do so not to end their lives but to escape unbearable emotional pain. This behavior represents an unconscious desire to temporarily diminish one's existence, offering relief from overwhelming feelings. It's a stark reminder of how powerful the annihilation drive can be under extreme stress. The duality of desire theory rests on three core propositions. First, every human contains both the drive for superiority and the drive for annihilation. Second, the balance between these drives determines psychological health. Third, environmental conditions and personal history influence which drive becomes dominant at any given time. This dynamic interplay shapes our mental well-being and our responses to life's challenges. When we feel safe, supported, and see opportunities ahead, the drive for superiority is activated. Our brains reward us for striving, learning, and achieving. This positive reinforcement encourages us to set goals, work hard, and seek recognition. In these moments, we are at our most ambitious and creative, fueled by the hope of self-realization. On the other hand, chronic stress, loss, trauma, or existential threats can trigger the drive for annihilation. Instead of seeking rewards, we may withdraw, avoid challenges, or even sabotage our own progress. This response is not a sign of weakness, but a deeply ingrained survival mechanism that once helped our ancestors cope with overwhelming danger. Consider a student striving for academic excellence. When supported and successful, they embody the drive for superiority, setting goals, working hard, and enjoying recognition. But if they face repeated failure and lack support, the same student might experience the drive for annihilation, losing motivation, withdrawing from friends, or even sabotaging their own efforts. This example shows how quickly the balance between the two drives can shift. During times of grief, people often self-isolate or engage in self-sabotage. These behaviors are not simply irrational, they reflect the unconscious influence of the annihilation drive. Instead of always seeking self-preservation, humans sometimes act against their own interests, especially when overwhelmed by loss or emotional pain. History offers striking examples of the dual drives in action. Artists like Vincent van Gogh and poets like Sylvia Plath oscillated between periods of intense creativity and tragic self-destruction. Their lives illustrate how the drive for superiority and the drive for annihilation can coexist, fueling both brilliance and despair. In psychotherapy, clients often struggle with internal conflicts between their desire to improve and their urge to withdraw or give up. The duality of desire theory helps therapists recognize and address these opposing forces, guiding clients toward restoring balance and achieving greater psychological health. Mood disorders like bipolar disorder vividly demonstrate the dual drives. During manic phases, the drive for superiority dominates. Individuals feel energized, ambitious, and unstoppable. In depressive phases, the annihilation drive takes over, leading to withdrawal and despair. Understanding this dynamic can improve treatment and support for those living with bipolar disorder. Even high-performing individuals are not immune to the annihilation drive. Many successful people experience periods of self-sabotage, procrastination, or burnout. These behaviors often emerge when the pressure to maintain superiority becomes overwhelming, tipping the balance toward withdrawal and self-doubt. The duality of desire theory has important implications for mental health. By recognizing the interplay between the two drives, clinicians can design more effective preventive programs and therapies. The goal is not to eliminate the annihilation drive, but to restore a healthy balance that allows individuals to thrive, even in the face of adversity. Preventive mental health programs can benefit from this model by focusing on strengthening the drive for superiority while providing support during times of crisis. By teaching coping skills and resilience, these programs help individuals maintain motivation and avoid slipping into patterns of withdrawal or self-sabotage. Therapists can use the duality of desire theory to tailor interventions. For clients dominated by the annihilation drive, therapy might focus on reactivating reward pathways and rebuilding self-worth. For those overwhelmed by the superiority drive, learning to accept limitations and manage stress becomes crucial. The ultimate aim is to help clients find equilibrium between ambition and self-care. Looking ahead, neuroimaging studies could help identify the neural correlates of the two drives. By mapping brain activity during periods of ambition and withdrawal, researchers can deepen our understanding of how these forces operate and interact. This research could lead to more precise treatments for mood and motivation disorders. Another future direction is the development of psychological assessments to measure the dominance or balance of the two drives in individuals. Such tools could help clinicians identify those at risk for depression, burnout, or self-sabotage, and intervene early to restore balance. Cross-cultural research will be essential to determine whether the dual drives are universal or shaped by cultural context. By studying diverse populations, psychologists can explore how different environments and values influence the balance between superiority and annihilation. To summarize, the duality of desire theory proposes that human behavior is shaped by two fundamental drives: the pursuit of superiority and the urge for annihilation. The balance between these forces determines our psychological health, influencing everything from ambition to despair. This model offers a powerful new framework for understanding the complexities of human motivation. For individuals, recognizing the dual drives can lead to greater self-awareness and healthier coping strategies. For clinicians and educators, this theory provides a roadmap for supporting those who struggle with motivation, mood, or self-sabotage. By aiming for balance, we can help ourselves and others lead more fulfilling lives. The duality of desire theory builds on decades of research in psychology and neuroscience. Key studies by Sapolsky, Berridge, Ledoux, Drevitz, Klonsky, and others have laid the groundwork for understanding how reward and threat systems shape our behavior. This model synthesizes their findings into a coherent framework for the future. While the duality of desire theory offers a compelling new perspective, it's important to remember that human behavior is complex and influenced by many factors. No single model can capture every nuance. Ongoing research and open-minded inquiry are essential for refining our understanding and improving mental health care. This theory was introduced by Abubakr Mayar and published on June 30, 2025. It represents an original contribution to the field of psychology, offering a new way to understand the paradoxes of human motivation. Any citation or reproduction should reference the author and this version of the work. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the human mind, the duality of desire theory invites us to reflect on our own motivations and struggles. By embracing both our drive for greatness and our moments of vulnerability, we can move toward a more compassionate and balanced understanding of ourselves and others. In the end, the duality of desire theory reminds us that to be human is to live with paradox. We are driven by the urge to rise and the temptation to retreat. By understanding and balancing these forces, we can unlock new possibilities for growth, healing, and fulfillment. The journey to self-understanding is ongoing, and this theory offers a powerful guide along the way.